Hi, I'm Scott Werner, and today I thank you for coming, and thank you, Vicki, for providing this place for us, and we're very happy to be here. I'm going to give a little talk on some of the Divine Masters, because we spend a lot of time saying things that they say, but we don't really know much about the Ascended Masters themselves. Saint Germaine is a different picture of him. And, I've got several different ones, and they all convey this beautiful energy of this blue-eyed guy in purple. And the reason he's dressed in purple, he is the Shohan of the violet flame. Now, what does that mean, the violet flame? Well, the violet flame is a part of the Aquarian age where we cleanse ourselves, getting ourselves ready for the ascension. Now you go, okay, what's the ascension? Because the violet flame consumes all of the bad stuff we've done over the eons of time, all of us humans, and we all need to be purified and cleansed so that we can ascend, because you can't ascend to a higher vibration without raising your vibration. And when we have all these discordant, low vibrating energies that we have created, humanity actually created all the bad stuff, and so we need to cleanse all that bad stuff out of our system. And the violet consuming flame is a gift from Saint Germaine, because without this violet consuming flame, we can't get rid of this stuff. But by using the violet flame, we can actually consume all these discordant creations, discordant thoughts, all of the rape and pillage that we've done over the centuries, we've all done it. And so we all need to be cleansed. Well, there's certain beings of light who didn't do any discordant things, such as Jesus, and some of the people in the past who are benevolent beings, higher beings. They did not create bad thoughts, bad deeds, bad actions. And so we have to watch our thoughts, our vision, our words, what we create, basically, throughout our mind. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Now, this is the third book of the I Am Discourses. Now, we've been going through the first two that have been preparing us to get to the third discourse. Now, the third discourse is full of teachings directly from the Ascended Masters. Now, the Ascended Masters are people who have cleared themselves through the violet flame or by not doing anything bad and have ascended to the higher vibratory realms. Now, these higher vibratory realms, some of us call them dimensions. And human beings started, believe it or not, this is where we come as animalistic people, and we incarnate into bodies that are made from the earth. And these this creative energy was actually created by God to allow us to learn and to come to the planet and do all kinds of things and see if we would follow the good things. And the problem was a lot of us did our own thing rather than following God. We followed our own thoughts and our own creations, and that's what created all of the havoc and chaos. So in 1932, through October through December, the Ascended Masters came and gave 28 of these lessons. There's actually more than that in here, but they came for a period of time and then stopped coming for about 8 months, and then continued on, and then they, did more, and they put it in here, and then more books. There's 38 books that I'm aware of the I Am Discourses. So a very important book. Now, one of the things they teach us in here, that we have the spark of God within us. Wayne Dyer talked a lot about that. What that is we were created in the likeness and image of God, which means each one of us has that image in our body. And it's centered in the threefold flame within our heart and extends throughout our body. Now, that threefold flame, if we've done a lot of naughty things, it shrinks and gets smaller. And in some people it's shrunk to the point where they don't feel God at all. And they become atheists, non-believers in divine or in God. And it's important to note this because we all need to recreate that image of God within us to assist us with our ascension. Because that energy of our heart, which is the love of God, helps us to expand our soul and accept teachings about God. So one of the things I've been told to do is visualize not only 24 strands of DNA in every human being, but also to visualize the threefold flame in every human being and expand that as points of light. Now, points of light means we actually visualize the light of God coming into the people as a point, and it starts as a very small point of light. And then we expand that through our thoughts and through our vision and through our words. So we say these things outside. You know, today's the end of regular time, and we went into daylight savings time, so we're a little bit late. And so I was up thinking I had an extra hour, and I was doing the expansion of the points of light, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, maybe I'm late. So I completed that and then came downstairs. But and I apologize to everybody for starting late, but I was expanding everybody's points of light in their body, so I was doing productive stuff. So please excuse me. Now this is another thing. Now this shows the threefold flame, and every one of us, it's about that big in our heart, who are expanded and trying to pay attention to their God self, the I am presence. And so this is about this big, and when we expand it, it actually gets much, much bigger. And I think I've drawn a picture of that. Oh, okay. And we expand it to this size or bigger within our hearts, and then we're more connected to the love of God. Now, why is it important to be connected to the love of God? You know, it's a simple question, but a lot of people don't understand that the love of God is creation. It's all of creation. God created everything because of his love for us. So, very, very important point. Now, this is also the blue lightning of the cosmic Christ, which also, with the violet flame, helps clear us of energies that we don't want in our body. So, very important aspect. Now, God also created lords of karma. And karma, for those who don't understand what karma is when we do something, there's a reaction. So it's like one of the laws of physics. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And when we do things that aren't in concordance with what God wants us to do, if they are discordant or not in alignment with the love of God. And the great divine director helps us to align back with the love of God, and does this in a couple of ways. Right here is depicted the heart, and within this is a golden light that purifies us and helps us to create better energies. Now within this, the great divine director doesn't show this threefold flame because the great divine director has the love of God totally surrounding the being. And so you don't see that depicted here because it's expanded, fully expanded within the great divine director, because he takes care of expanding the love of God to all of us. Now this up here that is shining forth is the sevenfold flame of all of the seven Elohim. And it's put upon the third eye and expands the energies of all of the seven Elohim. And that's important because the great divine director is desiring for all of us to put that over our third eye so we expand the sevenfold flame, which is all the creation of God. Now, when we talk about this, it's quite interesting. When I was first brought into the awareness of Saint Germaine and the 24 strands of DNA, I expanded it within myself, and then I was told to expand it in others. Now, why is this? Because we are all connected. None of us can ascend without everyone else. Now, the reason the Ascended Masters have ascended is because they're trying to get everyone else to ascend. And so they're the first, and they can show us, and their energies, we can call in their energies to come into our bodies and expand us to those higher vibrations. And so the great divine director is helping direct these activities, and Saint Germaine and the rest of the Shohan are directing these activities, and the 7 Elohim are directing these activities. So, I'm going to move on a little bit. Now this is the blue flame cross of the divine consciousness to heal our bodies and to, because discordant thoughts are what create all the diseases and all the problems on the planet. And this was created by the god of the rose to help clear those energies and heal them. And blue is very healing. So that's quite an interesting portrayal. Now, when Saint Germaine appeared to me, he told me about Archangel Jophiel. I'd never heard about Jophiel before, but Jophiel has the golden white light from the great central sun, and it's the archangel in charge of that, and the archangel of creative power and illumination, and the guardian of the tree of knowledge with Uriel. Now, why is that important for us? Because it's through the great central sun we can draw in the energies to create a more healthy body, a more divine body, and bring in the 24 strands of DNA. Now, the other one we just talked about is Uriel. And Uriel is the divine wisdom and love and ruler of the element of earth. Because our bodies are made out of the earth, the elements of the earth, we need Archangel Uriel to help us expand those energies and divinely make them into higher vibrating material. And we are also in charge of expanding the earth's energy. We can't ascend without the ascension of the earth. And so when we are creating these energies, we also need to include the earth, all the elementals, all the plants, all the animals, you know, everything. Because the entire earth is going to go through the ascension process. Now, the other one that is very fascinating that I learned about was Archangel Ariel. And Archangel Ariel, I knew about Ariel and Uriel because I would call them in with Raphael and Michael to create protection long time ago. Learned about them, yeah, when I was just young. And so I would call in the archangels, especially Michael, Uriel, Ariel, and Raphael. And that carries the love of God and assists us. They call them the lioness of God because it brings in that protection and strength to help us accept the love of God into our bodies. So, now we're going to move on a little bit, and I'm going to talk about Zadkiel. Zadkiel is the archangel of the violet flame, and so along with Saint Germaine helps bring this to our bodies and helps purify us and strengthen us. And what's interesting, we cannot receive the violet flame without the divine mercy, forgiveness, compassion of God. And so he is the archangel of divine mercy, forgiveness, invocation, and compassion. And so when we invoke the violet flame, Zadkiel also comes with Saint Germaine.
You can use that podium if you need it there.
What's that?
That podium.
Oh, yeah. That would be smart. Okay. interesting thing that I had occur to me, I started learning about the Arcturians several years ago. You know, I've always been a ufologist, and so I've always, you know, been interested in alien technology and different things. And I learned about the Arcturians as divine beings who assisted with the ascension, but I didn't really know why or how. And what this depiction is the Arcturians carry the violet flame and the divine blue flame with them. And Arcturus is one of the divine Elohim. And he actually initiated all of the Arcturians into the divine ascension. And so they are all ascended beings of light now. So they are all here to assist us. And they also are here to clean up the planet Earth, which is a marvelous thing because, you know, we as discordant humans have created all kinds of chemicals, toxins, and the atomic bombs with radiation and all kinds of things. And radiation is very harmful even in the other dimensions. It not only is in our dimension, but it crosses over into other dimensions. So they clean up the radiation and the toxins in our atmosphere and in the oceans and on the earth itself. So now we've got a couple more things. This is the divine celestial cosmic blue flame, and we talked a little bit about the blue energies. And it's interesting because the god of celestial blue flame is a part of this. The goddess of justice, the angels of Celeste, blue flame. Hercules is the Elohim of the blue flame. And so we've got a lot of energy carried in this. And purity and astria also carry the energy of the blue flame. So it's very important for this blue flame to come into our lives also, because this is the divine purity and helps us raise our consciousness to higher thoughts, higher divine creation. Okay, and this is a depiction of the cosmic violet flame, and it's peace and pacifica, the violet flame angels, also purity and astria, and Cassiopeia, Minerva, you know, all the divine saints, and even Saint Germaine is a part of that. So, I think I've got through most everything. Now, this is quite interesting. When Saint Germaine appeared to me, spoke to me for 2 hours, telling me all kinds of stuff, and afterward, Melchizedek appeared, and Melchizedek reiterated everything, but Melchizedek also reiterated how important it is for us to incorporate the Merkaba. Now, what is the Merkaba? The Merkaba is the divine energy of the divine male and feminine energies from the gods and goddesses. Now, as you know, Melchizedek lived to be over 900 years old. And why were these initial humans, because he was a human being back in the 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, but he brought about all those who serve from divine guidance, and his gifts are freedom, forgiveness, creativity, science of alchemy and transmutation, and sacred ritual. Now, who does that remind you of? Saint Germaine. So he was one of the main teachers of Saint Germaine. And he reiterated everything Saint Germaine had told me, and had actually been the teacher of Saint Germaine for the Ascension. Now, another one I'm supposed to talk about is Metatron. And he's all about sacred geometry, the Merkaba, the energies of the light. And Metatron and I must have had some disagreements early on in my evolution, because I had a problem with Metatron. But now that's been resolved, because I know that he is the one who helps us create all of the geometry and light within our light bodies. important being